Hi, how you doing there? Well, my name's Lee Matthews and I'm a physiotherapist and this is Pilates Rehab Relax. So I'm going to guide you through a mat work Pilates session, probably about half an hour long, and this is aimed at an intermediate level. So if there's any uncertainty, please start with the gentle level class, which is very similar. And if you're doing okay with that, or if you find it's quite easy, then this is definitely one to progress onto. So it'll be a little bit more intense, nothing too hard, but again, if you've not been used to exercising, I'd definitely stick with the gentle stuff and make sure you're happy with that first, if that's okay. So I'm going to do this on my exercise mat. You might want to do it on a nice carpet or a firm surface, a rug or a beach towel. But if there's any uncertainty about getting on and off of the floor, then you definitely need to be doing it on a bed. To be honest, I think if you can't get on and off of the floor very easily, you probably should be doing the gentle class and not this one. But, here we go. So I'm going to bring this off into laying down. I've got a folded towel underneath my neck, just for that little bit of support there. So this is going to mirror the gentle class that I've done in a very similar fashion, but I'm just going to take some of the techniques to slightly more challenging positions, if that's okay. So the first thing we're going to do is find ourselves in a nice neutral position. We've got our feet resting flat on the floor there, and there's a gap, probably just a couple of inches between my knees there. Shoulders nice and wide, and again I've got that long neck and that lengthening of my spine, so no poking chins or anything like that at all, guys. Yeah. So the first thing we're going to do is the one leg stretch, but this time round we're going to go to level 2. So if you remember with the level 1, we engaged that tummy muscle and we were sliding the leg out and away from us. Well, what we're going to do with this one, we're going to engage that muscle, but then what I want you to try and do for me is bring the leg up into that tabletop position and then out and away in a diagonal line to the corner of the room, and then back into that tabletop position and down again. So we'll aim to do 5 on each leg, if that's alright. So there we go, let's keep on going. So 1 and down. So again, you engage your breath, out, inhale and down. And let's do the same on the other side. So again, engage that muscle, I take my leg into tabletop, and then on that outward breath, and it's a diagonal line, so it's where the wall meets the ceiling, and then back down. And we're making that muscle engage in our core as that leg comes up. So just a couple more on this side. And then back down again, and one more time. And back down again. So that's 5 on each leg for the single leg stretch level 2. So now what we're going to go on to doing is the double leg stretch. And if you remember in the easier video, it's actually an arm movement. The double leg stretch, as we breathe in, is up and round. So each time I bring my arms back up into this nice upright position here, there you go, aiming for about 90 degrees there. Now what I can do as a progression to this is to bring my leg out and away from me as the arms go out. So there we go. So that's 2, and I synchronise my breathing. So as I go out and away from me, I breathe out, and then I breathe in as I come round again. And my arms move around like they're going around a big beach ball, perhaps. And when you've done 5 on one side, then what we're going to do is 5 on the other side. So here we go again, swapping legs. And then, and again, breathing out. And then, this is a lovely way of engaging that tummy and working on our breathing. And one more time. And back to the start position again. Well done. So we're going to move on to the hip twist, which we've done before as a simple action of moving the leg or the knee out to the side whilst keeping that control on the other leg. Well, we're going to advance that slightly, and we're going to move on to a position which is known as the hip twist level 3. And how we're going to advance that? So level 1 was one leg out to the side. Level 2 was more of a mobility one where both legs come out. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to keep the leg that's furthest away from you completely still where it is. I'm going to engage my tummy muscle, and I'm going to bring the leg closest to you up into that tabletop position. So it's a bit like I'm resting my leg on a coffee table or a chair. I engage the core, I draw that tummy in towards my spine, and then what I'm going to do is rotate the leg out to the side slightly. Again, I've still got that glass balanced on that knee there, and then back in again, and the same again. So this is a small movement, and this is about control. So I engage the core, and on an outward breath, I rotate that knee out to the side, and then back in again. And one more. So I breathe out, and I hold, and then back in again. That's great. So let's try the same on the other side now. So again, I engage my tummy muscles before I even bring the leg up. So keeping that tummy button drawn in towards the spine, engaging that muscle's called the core there. I bring my knee up to that tabletop position. So this time I'm doing it with the leg furthest away from you. I engage my tummy muscle, and on an outward breath, I rotate my leg out and away from you, and then back in again. And again, I breathe out, and in again, and again. Now it's perfectly okay to mix and match. You might find that you stick with the easier versions of some of these and look for the harder versions for some of the progressions. I'd actually welcome you to just make a couple of them harder to begin with if there's any uncertainty, and consolidate your fitness and your technique before you progress on to doing all of them harder. I'm just trying to provide variations so that people have got different options out there. I'm going to do one more on this leg. So again, keeping that muscle engaged, keeping that pelvis in that nice centered position, and the leg comes out to the side, and then back in again. And let's bring that leg down to the start. So I'm going to drop back to the hip twist level 2. I'm going to bring my knees and my feet so they're in the midline now. And what we do this, again, we engage those tummy muscles, and as I go over towards you guys, I engage my tummy muscle and I keep my shoulders flat on the bed. Now again, we can actually just make that slightly more challenging if I look in the opposite direction to my knees. And then again, keep that core engaged as you draw those legs back into the midline. And now the same to the opposite side. So again, you might need your hands a little bit wider just to make some room for yourself here. I engage my tummy muscles, I draw that that belly button in towards my spine, and then I'm going to rotate the knees to the opposite side on an outward breath and look over and away. And keeping those muscles engaged, draw those knees back into the middle again. And the same back over to the opposite side again. So again, engage those tummy muscles, drop the knees over to the side. And then back to the start. So you could just stick to doing the knees, but if you wanted to involve the neck and do some neck rotation in the opposite direction, that would be our gentle progression for this session. So again, you work at your own pace and in your own time. I'm going to try and do about 5 to each side. You might find you only do a couple, and as with any of these techniques, if it's too much, then just wait and join in again for the next thing we go through. So I got 1 more to each side after this, I think. And you might find that your knees go over quite far on one side and don't go so far in the other, and that's fine. So again, one last one. And again. That's good. Right, so that was the hip twist level 2 with a slight head variation. So I'm going to bring my legs slightly further apart again, like they were at the start position. And what we're going to move on to now is the shoulder bridge. So we're going to do, like we did before, where we go to lift up, but we're going to take it from the shoulder bridge level 1 to the shoulder bridge level 2. So I've got a yoga block. You can use just a folded towel, yeah. I'm just doing this because it's easier and it comes to hand easily here, but don't go spending any money on anything. A folded towel will be perfectly good enough for this. So again, I engage my tummy muscles, and then I'm going to peel my tailbone up off of the bed there, or up at the mat, and hold that position. Now you might find that just grasping the block is enough there. That was the shoulder bridge level 1 with a block between my knees. But to take that to the shoulder bridge level 2, what we actually do is bring one of the legs out and away from us, and back down again, and gently down, and again. So I come up, move the leg out and away from us, back down. So with level 2, we do those alternate leg lifts, but each time we go up, we come back down between each alternate leg. So back down, and then like a Mexican wave, I'll bring myself back to the start position, yeah? And here we go again. So up we go. And back down. So things to watch out for if you're doing this, and as you go up, you're finding that as you lift up, you're dropping down from the pelvis, then you're not quite strong enough, and you need to just stick with doing the normal one first of all. And back down again, and again. It's quite intense on the glutes, this one. So again, we hold that for a few seconds, keep that nice contraction on the tummy, and back down again. And then I think I've got one left on the other side here, so let's just, up we go, and again, up and away from me, and then back down, and relax. Well done, guys. So that was the shoulder bridge, taking it up to level 2. What we're going to do, we're going to progress on the scissors that we've done previously as well. So again, I engage my muscle, and we often do this gentle contraction about 3 out of 5. I want to bring both legs up. So we just need to work that little bit harder while we bring those legs up together. So first of all, tense up your tummy muscle. I'm going to bring one leg up into tabletop, and I'm just going to squeeze that little bit harder as we bring the second leg up to join it there. So there you go. So keep that core muscle engaged now. And what we're going to do, we're going to go through what we call scissors level 2. So level 1 was with the feet starting off on the floor and just bringing one up and then the other up. But what we're actually going to do now, I engage that muscle and I'm going to tap one leg down and then the other leg down. Yeah, so keep that muscle working, guys. And let's try and count to 5 on each leg. So that's 2, 3. That's good. And then let's just bring one leg down and then the other leg down. Well done. So that was quite brief. You might want to do more of those, but let's just start with 5 to begin with and see how you find, if that's okay. So we're going to move on to the one leg circle. We did this before by bringing the leg up and making small circles with the hip. So we're going to progress on to the one leg circle level 2, and the way I'm going to go about that is bringing the leg up and trying to straighten the knee. Now my hamstrings aren't brilliant, they're a little bit tight, so making 5 circles one direction, so the rest of me should stay completely still. Now if you can do it with your leg pointing straight up to the ceiling, then that's brilliant, that's better than me. But I'm just going to do about 5 circles in one direction, and I bring the leg down again, and then I'm going to do the same and do some circles in the opposite direction. So here we go, up we go, try and straighten that knee. So I went anti-clockwise last time, so I'm going to go clockwise this time. So imagine you've got a paintbrush tied to your toes and you're trying to draw a circle on the ceiling, aiming for about 5 circles there, and then back down again and relax again. So yeah, let's aim to do sort of about 5 circles each time, and we do sort of perhaps 3 sets of 2 sets of circles on each leg, and back down again, and again reversing that direction. So we're engaging that core, we're working those thigh muscles, and you might be feeling a little bit of a burn there, because I certainly can. There you go. And we do one more in the opposite direction there, and then I'm going to swap over to the other leg. So if you've had enough with any of these, then again, just bring yourself back to that start position and we can join in for the next exercise. So again, swapping legs into tabletop, up we go, and make some circles. So again, remember which direction, aiming for about 5 circles, and then back down again, and repeat, circling in the opposite direction. And back down again. So I'm doing two lots of circling in opposite directions, 5 circles with each of those, and I'm probably doing about three lots of that on each leg. So it's and one last time in each direction. So engage that core, like you've got a tray of drinks balanced there, and back down again, and one last time in the opposite direction. That's good. Well done, guys. So we're going to finish off with the stuff laying on our back, by doing hundreds. And we've done that before by either just bringing the shoulders up, or imagining you've got a tennis ball or a big orange between your chin and your chest, lifting the shoulder blades up and doing lots of repeated movements like you're splashing your hands in puddles either side of you basically. Well, the progression to that is by having one leg up in tabletop. So I'm going to engage my tummy muscle, bring one of my legs up in front of me to tabletop and engage those muscles now. So I'm keeping that core zipped up and then lifting my shoulders up. And down again, that's good. And let's swap over with our legs. So again, engage the core, leg comes up into tabletop, up we go, and go guys. And down again. And the same again, leg into tabletop, up we go. And down again, and let's do the same on the other leg again. So again, engage the core, up we go. And down again, that's good. So we're aiming for about 4 of those with 25 reps, and I don't know about you, but I could definitely feel that. So we're going to bring ourselves onto our sides now, if that's okay. I'll roll towards you guys. So what we're going to do now is the clam. Make yourself comfortable. Traditional sort of Pilates position would be to have the arm on the floor, out and away from you. You might be more comfortable with a pillow or a bit more neck support, so you make yourself comfortable, yeah? I'm looking for my knees, sorry, my ankles, my hips, to be in a nice straight line with my shoulders, and my knees approximately 90 degrees or thereabouts. This hand is going to be nice and relaxed, yeah? So the clam, how we did it previously, was engaging the core muscle and lifting that leg up and away from us, yeah? So the progression to that, the clam level 2, is to actually lift those ankles away from the mat and hold that position there. So keep that core engaged. You can still have your hand in front of you for support. And I'm going to lift up and down again. So again, imagine you've got a drink balanced on your waist there as you go up and down. And again, I'm going to aim for about 5 reps. So just so we can, start small. But you could do this for 10 if you wanted to, not a problem. There you go, that's about 5. Okay, so we then went on previously in the general workout to doing a technique called side kicks, where we basically had the leg up and behind us. Well, the progression to that is with the legs nice and straight. So here we go. Straighten your legs out in front of you. And what I want you to do for me now is to lift up that upper leg if you can. So there we go. Up nice and tall. Now, the way you can give yourself more stability with this is having the leg you're laying on top of just slightly bent there. It gives you more of a base of support. And now I've moved the candles since my last workout just so I don't set my feet on fire. But I'm going to bring my leg out and away from you. So imagine you've got a paintbrush between your big toe and your second toe, and I want you to imagine you're painting a broad brush stroke of a perfectly horizontal line there, out and away from you. And again, my pelvis stays completely still as that leg sways back and forwards. Again, I'll aim for 5. That's good, that must be 5 in fact. back to your start position. Okay, we'll finish off on this side by doing a little bit of arm opening. So you might want some more support for this one. I'll leave it down to you. So I'm gonna rest on my side with both hands on top of each other. And what we're gonna do with this one, the easiest variation is like an archer pulling back a bow and arrow. And a slightly more challenging one than that is the bringing the arm up to the ceiling and then over behind you. And again. And the whole time we do that, we're aiming to follow that line of movement that our hand is doing with our nose. So my neck turns round and follows that movement. So it's a really nice way of opening up the chest. And again. And the whole way through this, you keep those core muscles engaged. That's great. Well, let's roll on to the other side if that's okay and do the same again. So I'm going to flip to the other end. You can just roll onto your back if you can see the screen, okay? So here we go. Make yourself comfortable. That's good. So the first thing we're going to do is that clamshell. So here we go. One foot on top of the other. I've got this nice straight line between my shoulders, hips and ankles. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to lift up my ankles. And there we go. And we're off. So you shouldn't be using the hand that you're resting on too firmly there. And it's almost like you've got a glass of drinks. So a glass of some drink balanced on your pelvis there. And my heels stay pressed together. This is a really good glute exercise. Engaging that core muscle throughout. And one more time. And back down again with the heels. That's good. Okay, well again, let's straighten those legs out and we're going to do the side kick. I'm going to make this just a tiny bit easier by bending the leg that I'm laying on top of. You can do it with a straight leg, but you've got far less support, so that's a much more difficult challenge for that one, but it's there if you want it. So first of all, let's engage those muscles, lift up that leg, and again, let's try and draw that brush stroke with a paintbrush gripped between the toes. So my leg stays nice and straight, and I'm drawing a perfectly horizontal line, hopefully, as I go all the way forwards and all the way backwards. And again, aiming for something approximating about 5 of these. And the whole time, keeping nice and straight at that pelvis there. So again, I don't want to drop back, I want to keep it perfectly still. There you go, and back to the start position. That's good. Okay, well we're going to move into our arm openings again. So here we go. Let's put one hand on top of the other. Again, you might want a bit more neck support. And I'm going to bring myself back up to the ceiling and then drop back down behind me and crash into the flowers. And then back down again. And again. Up to the ceiling. And then out and behind you. And again. Up to the ceiling. And up behind you. And each one of these, we follow that movement with our gaze, but our hips stay exactly where they are. So it's that upper body rotation that we're looking for. And when you've done about 5 of those, back to the start position, yeah. So there we go. Right, well, we're going to go on to all fours now. So let me bring myself around this way. And what we're going to do is just a couple of things to finish off with. We've done something called swimming before. I want you to bring in all fours, aiming for approximately 90 degrees at the hips and at the ankles there, and make yourself comfortable. If you find that you've got too much sort of weight through your arms and it's uncomfortable there, if you've got a bad shoulder, then you can always drop some of your weight onto the knees a bit more. So you know, you're the boss with all of these. And what we're going to do, there's a couple of variations and we can combine them. So swimming can be laying on your front completely, or it can be done in a crawling position. And what we're going to do for this is a movement of our leg out behind us. So there we go, I bring my leg out. So imagine you've got a tray of drinks balanced on your back now, and you could just stick with doing it with the leg like this and that would be fine. But if you're feeling up to it, then what you can do, if you've got one leg out behind you, the opposite arm to that, you can also reach out. So it's kind of like a Superman position there. Keep that core engaged, and then bring the arm and leg down, and the same on the opposite side. So again, you might want to just stick to doing it with your leg, and that would be absolutely fine. Again, imagine that you've got a tray of drinks balanced on your back with this. I'm going to keep completely still, engage those tummy muscles, and reaching that arm up as well. And hold for a few seconds there. Really engage that core. And down again. And let's do the same again on the opposite. So we're going to alternate. And you might want to just do the leg or just do the arms, and that's fine. But each time you imagine you've got a tray of drinks balanced between your shoulder blades. And down again. And again. So we'll aim to do, I don't know, about 5 on each side, I guess. It really would help if you count at the start, wouldn't it? I'll aim to do about 5, and if we get any extras in, that would be a secret ploy on my part to get you to do more exercise. And back down again. And one more time. And relax. That's great. We're going to finish off with a challenging exercise. I'm not going to be doing the plank here, but we can do something that's still a little bit difficult. So I'm going to engage my core. That's it. So zip up those muscles. And now what I want to do, so I've got my toes resting down on the mat. So if you've got them like that, you need to move them so your toes are down there. We're going to engage that core, zip up that muscle. And what I want you to try and do for me is just lift your knees off of the mat there. And keep the core engaged. And down again. Well, let's do about 5 of those, shall we? So that was 1. So again, draw the tummy button in towards the spine. Imagine a tray of drinks balanced on your back. And we lift those knees away from the mat. And I'm going to hold it for a few seconds. And down again. I'm definitely counting to 5 with this one, I promise you. So that was 2. And again. So engage the core. And lift those knees clear of the mat. And hold. and 2 more. So with the Pilates, so engage the core and lift. With the Pilates, we're not just looking at range of movement, we're not just looking at flexibility, we're also looking at building endurance there as well. And we're definitely doing that on this occasion. So a lot of people think about the core, engage the tummy. A lot of people think about the core and think about the plank, and that is a very challenging exercise, but it's often done in a way that's leading to people being sore, and actually there's lots of other variations there. So hope you enjoyed your workout. Don't forget to click like and subscribe, and if you wanted an easier workout, then drop into the other class I've done. Link will follow after I finish talking, and there's also a slightly harder level as well if you fancy more of a challenge. So thanks for coming along, and look forward to seeing you again soon.